Let's put Naruto Uzumaki into the world of Dragon Ball to run a gauntlet. How far does he make it? If you saw my video about Saiyan Saga Goku versus JJK, you'd know that Goku, even in the earliest stages of DBZ, is pretty much strong enough to take out most of JJK, but what if we had Dragon Ball face off against a character from a stronger verse? What if someone as strong as Naruto worked his way through all the arcs of Dragon Ball? How far would he get? I think Naruto's a lot stronger than most people give him credit for, and that he'd make it farther than you might think, but how far can he actually get? Let's start by talking about Naruto and what each of his iterations are actually capable of. I'm fairly sure most of you watching this video are familiar with Naruto's powers and abilities, so this will just be a brief overview for those few unfamiliar with him. I can't exactly do a video about Naruto fighting DBZ without talking about Naruto first, so it's definitely worth talking about first. Once we finish covering Naruto's powers and abilities, we can start running him through each arc in Dragon Ball in chronological order and see how he'd fare in each battle. The most important stat to start with, I think, is speed, since it doesn't matter how strong someone is if they're too slow to hit their opponent. Starting with Kid Naruto from part 1 of Naruto, back when he was around 12 to 13 years old, Naruto was shown to be able to run up a 1,620 meter high tree in less than 75 seconds, but that's just movement speed. For reaction speed, Naruto was able to dodge an attack from Shukaku, who at the time was comparable to Orochimaru's snake summon, Manda, who's been calculated to move an attack at approximately Mach 12, making Naruto Hypersonic Plus. Add to that the fact that Naruto can amp his speed with QB Naruto Zero and the one-tailed Kurama cloak. Naruto's definitely pretty dang fast. As far as attack potency goes, things are pretty clear-cut. Naruto's attack power is pretty concretely multi-city block level at this stage. Sasuke, Naruto's rival, was capable of generating a fireball jutsu that vaporized the ground and left a crater with a diameter bigger than Sasuke's whole body. Not only was Naruto similar in power to Sasuke, but he also fought Gaara to a draw, with Gaara even without Shukaku being able to easily beat First Gate Rock Lee, and was considered so powerful by Sasuke that if he couldn't dodge Gaara's attacks with Sharingan, Gaara would kill him. By the tail end of part 1, Naruto should be comparable to other Leaf Genin like Neji, Lee, Shikamaru, and Choji, all of which who are able to fight the Sound 4, most notably Lee fighting with Kimimaru, was able to completely destroy an entire field of his own bone spikes with just the impact of his attack, with the bone spikes in question being said to be as hard as tempered steel. Just in base, that's the level of his durability and attack power. Of course, he becomes monumentally stronger in QB Naruto Zero and with the one-tailed Kurama cloak, being able to completely overpower Haku, someone he had no chance against before. He stalemated a weakened Orochimaru 2 different times. He was able to go blow for blow against Curse Seal level 2 Sasuke, and he even survived an air bullet from Tailed Beast Shukaku, an attack that even Gamabunta had to use War Bullet to clash, though it did nearly kill him. The environmental destruction feats are pretty consistent throughout Naruto, so it makes it pretty easy to rank Naruto in terms of power. We see Naruto specifically go all out against quite a few different characters, and even in instances where Naruto himself doesn't show a lot of environmental destruction, his opponents have some pretty good showings of the destructive power of their attacks, so it's also easy to scale Naruto based on the feats of those he's fought or is narratively compared to in power. I think multi-city block level is a very strong placement for base, and large mountain level is a bare minimum for KN0 and 1TKC due particularly to his showings against Shukaku. Let's also talk about his powers and abilities, since they primarily work to amplify his power rather than being hacks-based. You guys are all probably already familiar with the basic concepts of Naruto's powers, so I won't go too in-depth, but Naruto's ninjutsu are pretty much the primary means by which he fights, so we should at least go over a vague outline of his abilities so that I can just casually make mention of them as I run him through the Dragon Ball Gauntlet without having to stop and explain stuff. In addition to basic jutsu that most shinobi know and have mastered to varying degrees, like substitution jutsu, which allows the user to substitute their body with an object to avoid an attack, body flicker jutsu, which allows a ninja to enhance their speed by focusing their chakra into their feet, transformation jutsu, which allows ninjas to alter their appearance, and summoning jutsu, which allows ninjas to summon items or creatures, Naruto has 3 primary jutsu. First, the first major jutsu Naruto ever learned, the Shadow Clone Jutsu, a jutsu that allows the user to summon an identical, physically real clone of themselves by evenly dividing their chakra to create the copy. While these clones typically get destroyed pretty easily since all of Naruto's chakra is divided among them, making each clone only a fraction of Naruto's full power, at the peak of his power at this point, Naruto can summon over 2,000 shadow clones at a single time. Naruto can also chain together multiple jutsus in tandem for surprise attacks, such as his Demon Wind Bomb technique, where he summons a shadow clone, uses transformation jutsu to transform him into a Demon Wind Shuriken, throws the shuriken at an enemy, and then has the clone transform back into a clone, at which point Naruto and the clone jump the target. In the second half of Part 1, Naruto learns his signature jutsu, the Rasengan, a jutsu that allows the user to focus their chakra into a small spinning ball in the palm of their hand, and when the ball makes contact with a target, said target will be propelled forward with the Rasengan until it bursts and causes severe damage. Before we talk about the last jutsu Naruto has at this point, we should talk about his Tail Beast Cloak ability. Basically, Naruto has sealed within him the strongest of 9 legendary beasts of immense power, specifically the 9-tailed fox, and he can draw upon the power of that beast for a massive burst of power. The amount of power used is indicated by the amount of tails present in the cloak, with 9 tails being Kurama's full power, Kurama being the name of the 9-tailed fox. Early on in the series, he can't control this power, and it presents as a berserker rage, but as mentioned prior, the boost in power and speed is a multitude of hundreds. He has a form called QB Naruto Zero, where he basically uses less than a single tail's worth of Kurama's power, but to keep things simple, we'll just use the one-tail Kurama cloak since it's a direct upgrade in every way. With the version 1 cloak active, we have Naruto's final jutsu in Part 1, his strongest jutsu, the Vermilion Rasengan. Naruto is able to lace his normal Rasengan with the chakra of the 9-tailed fox, and once he thrusts the Rasengan into a target, rather than simply repelling them and bursting like a normal Rasengan, the Vermilion Rasengan just out and out explodes, causing massive damage that should, in theory, at least to some degree, rival one of Shukaku's air bullets. That's of course only if he lands the attack, but considering that Naruto uses this with his speed and power amped from the one-tailed cloak, the target would have to be able to react to the transformation, gauge Naruto's new power and speed, react to the charge of the attack, and successfully dodge the now much faster Naruto. I don't think it would be too hard for a Dragon Ball character to do that, though the change in speed and power may be difficult to adjust to on such short notice, which was a problem for some characters when transformations like Kaioken and Super Saiyan were first introduced. Now, very briefly, I'd like to talk about something called verse equalization. Verse equalization is basically a concept in power scaling where powers and types of energy from different verses are treated as equivalent, allowing for different energy-specific abilities like ki sensing to still work, or to prevent instant losses from stuff like Ryatsu Crush or Nen Crush because a verse-specific resistance is required to survive even being near a character. The idea is that equating each verse's powers makes matches fair, or in some cases, it makes matches actually possible. It would allow for stuff like Asta's anti-magic abilities to still be relevant in a fight against Naruto by also making it anti-chakra, or it could allow Dragon Ball characters to actually fight Bleach characters by equating Ryatsu with ki energy. We'll be using verse equalization for this match so that characters with moves that require the target to have ki can work on Naruto, and techniques that Naruto has that affect chakra would work on Dragon Ball characters. Alright, we've covered Part 1 Naruto, we've explained verse equalization, and now it's finally time to get to the crux of the video. Seeing how far Naruto could make it into Dragon Ball arc by arc, and finding out who he could actually beat. Using Goku as a benchmark here, since he's the main character, Goku at this point in the series is weaker and slower than Naruto, with Goku only being building level in power and subsonic plus in speed, and even Great Ape Goku only being large building level and hypersonic. It goes without saying, but anyone weaker than Goku at this point wouldn't be able to beat Naruto either. Other than Uzaru Goku, the only character stronger than Goku would be Master Roshi. Power-wise, Naruto would still have the advantage, as even at max power, Roshi would still only at most be in the large building to city block range, making Naruto roughly 10 to 50 times stronger. But Part 1 Naruto might actually lose already, since Master Roshi's max power Kamehameha at full power was strong enough to blow up the moon in a later arc, despite him not becoming significantly stronger since his introduction, and while his base speed is only supersonic, much slower than Naruto, his Kamehameha, after being fired, is tens of thousands of times faster than Naruto's peak reaction speed. It basically comes down to, can Naruto close the distance and beat the crap out of Roshi before Roshi obliterates him with a max power Kamehameha? The way I see it, Naruto actually wins here, but barely by the skin of his teeth. Because Naruto's chakra sensing would allow for him to sense Roshi's ki, and Roshi's ki sensing would allow for him to sense Naruto's chakra, Roshi would definitely know to immediately go for a max power Kamehameha. Naruto would be able to sense Roshi's power increase even beyond the apparent physical change, and though it wouldn't necessarily be anything to break a sweat about, when Roshi starts charging his Kamehameha, Naruto would basically be sensing an amount of chakra comparable to what he'd be outputting as the 7th Hokage. The reason I think Naruto would win here is because it would be at this point that Naruto would probably summon 2,000 Shadow Clones and bum rush Roshi with Body Flicker Jutsu active. Considering even Neji's Byakugan couldn't tell the Shadow Clones apart, I don't think Roshi could tell which one is the real Naruto, and considering the speed amp from Body Flicker Jutsu, the fact that Naruto can quickly close the distance by using the Demon Wind Bomb projectile attack, and the fact that, at base, Naruto is already 6 times faster than Roshi, he's basically got one chance to blind fire his Kamehameha to one-shot Naruto, meaning he's literally got a 1 in 2,000 chance of winning this fight. Roshi definitely gives Naruto a tough fight, which is concerning for Naruto since it's only the first arc, but Part 1 Naruto is actually able to clear an arc of Dragon Ball. For the 21st World Tournament Saga, Great Ape Goku and Max Power Jackie Chun are still the 2 strongest characters at this point, and things would be even worse for Jackie since, if we're saying that Naruto is competing in the tournament, Jackie would have to pull his punches with his Kamehameha's power in order to avoid killing Naruto. Jackie still has no answer for the Shadow Clone Jutsu, and Naruto can still sense the max power Kamehameha's power and basically speed blitz. For the Red Ribbon Army Saga, the strongest fighters in the Red Ribbon Army like General Blue and Mercenary Tao are still manageable. Blue is only large building level and supersonic plus in speed, so Naruto outspeeds and is much stronger, and though Mercenary Tao is stronger than Blue and actually almost as fast as Naruto, Naruto is still significantly stronger and could probably take out Tao with a well-placed Rasengan. Goku at this stage is strong enough to beat both of them, and while it's notable that Goku's faster than Tao, who's already nearly as fast as Naruto, I still think Naruto is faster, and a version 1 cloak Naruto would literally speed blitz and one-shot this Goku, so Naruto still overcomes the Red Ribbon Saga handily. For the Fortune Teller Baba Saga, the only major threat is, of course, Spike the Devil Man, who can one-shot anyone with evil in their heart using his Devil Might Beam, but even though he's the second fastest of Baba's fighters, Naruto is still roughly 2 times faster than him, even without Body Flicker Jutsu or the One-Tailed Cloak, and Naruto is strong enough to take him out pretty effortlessly, especially with a Rasengan. Spike's only chance is if he somehow lands a Devil Might Beam on someone 2 times faster than him, and that's only if Naruto doesn't use Shadow Clones. If he does, Spike basically doesn't stand a chance. This would be the last arc that Naruto could beat without using his Tailed Beast Cloak, as the next arc, the 22nd World Tournament, introduces characters that are actually faster than Naruto even with his version 1 Tailed Beast Cloak. Using the 2 strongest characters in this arc, Goku and Tien, for speed, both of them now move at relativistic speed based on the fact that Goku was able to dodge a Tri-Beam from Tien, and Tien could keep up with Goku. According to Roshi, there's no comparing the Tri-Beam to the Kamehameha, so if we take this to mean that it's superior to the Kamehameha across the board, including speed, that means that the Tri-Beam, and by extension Goku and Tien, are faster than the Kamehameha that Roshi fired at the moon to blow it up in seconds. That means that Goku and Tien are moving at roughly 10% of the speed of light at this point, exorbitantly faster than Naruto's Mach 12. Even if we wank One-Tail's Cloak Naruto and give him the Body Flicker Jutsu speed amp, the best his speed could be is roughly 1 to 2% of the speed of light, meaning Goku and Tien would still be 5 to 10 times faster, much too fast for Naruto to keep up with. He might be able to even the playing field with 2,000 version 1 Beast Cloak Shadow Clones, but the insurmountable wall that Naruto cannot overcome at this point is how hard Goku and Tien are hitting. With power levels nearly at 200 by this point, Goku and Tien are both planetary, meaning they could both one-shot Naruto in a single strike. By the way, them being planetary doesn't necessarily mean that they could blow up the planet instantly, more like they could blow up something like the moon instantly with no issue. we wouldn't see planetary feats on the level of blowing up the Earth in Dragon Ball until the Saiyan Saga in DBZ. As for Tien and Goku being planetary here, sure, that might not be an issue if there are 2,000 Narutos to try to hit, but with AoE attacks like the Kamehameha and the Tri-Beam, and with them being up to 10 times faster than Naruto, he's basically cooked. Part 1 Naruto could not beat the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament. Well, what about Part 2 Naruto? Well, he's still not nearly strong enough to hurt Goku or Tien, but something is different: his Rasen Shuriken. Not only can Rasen Shuriken bypass the durability advantage Goku and Tien would have due to specifically piercing them on a cellular level, but it can also destroy their ki circulation to prevent them from using ki attacks like Kamehameha and Tri-Beam. The dangerous part is that, at first in Part 2, Naruto can't throw the Rasen Shuriken, so he has to shove it into Goku and Tien by hand, which not only puts him in range of attack where he'd die in a single hit, but he also risks being caught in the blowback of his own attack. Luckily though, he's faster than he was in Part 1, he can still amp his speed with Body Flicker Jutsu, he can still use multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu to summon thousands of Shadow Clones, and he can also even further amp his speed with the Tailed Beast Cloak. With them only being 5 times faster than his base form at this point, the speed-amped army of clones is going to be a lot more of an issue, and if even a single one of them can tag Goku or Tien, not only would they be seriously injured, but they won't be able to use ki techniques anymore. Also remember, I'm coupling Goku and Tien together since they're the 2 strongest characters in this arc, but this fight would be a 1v1. Goku and Tien aren't fighting together, meaning Goku or Tien will have to face an entire army of over 2,000 Narutos by themselves, with just a single touch potentially spelling big trouble. I can absolutely see Goku or Tien still winning under these conditions since they're still strong enough to one-shot, they start off with access to ki moves and only lose that if they're hit with a Rasen Shuriken, and they're still 5 times faster, but being attacked omnidirectionally and having to fight and keep up with over 2,000 people is still ridiculously difficult, so I think that it's actually possible and even somewhat likely that Naruto wins. Whether it's from a well-placed Rasen Shuriken due to overwhelming Goku or Tien, or whether it's a drawn-out battle of attrition that causes Goku or Tien to get tired, leaving them open to a Rasen Shuriken. What about the King Piccolo saga? Can Part 2 Naruto still hold up? Well, Demon King Piccolo is going to be the major obstacle, and he's a lot stronger than Goku or Tien, and, while he's not quite the speed of light, he's pretty damn close. At best, he's roughly 50% of the speed of light, meaning he's roughly 25 times faster than Naruto, not a speed that Naruto could ever hope to conceive of being able to combat, even with over 2,000 clones. Naruto could still potentially hurt Demon King Piccolo with a Rasen Shuriken, but he gets speed blitzed in one shot long before he could even get a chance to charge it up. Now, it's possible that Naruto could close the gap back down to only 10 times faster using the Four-Tailed Cloak, since the Four-Tailed Cloak was fast enough to overwhelm Orochimaru, but King Piccolo at this point would still be fast enough to kill Naruto in a single hit before he could react. Things actually start becoming realistic again for Naruto when we start talking about Sage Mode, since it was fast enough to keep up with the 6 Paths of Pain. For context, Itachi Susanoo was able to react to Sasuke's Kirin, a jutsu that's literally a cloud-to-ground lightning bolt which moves at 200 million miles per hour, or 30% of the speed of light. That alone is already half of King Piccolo's speed, meaning that that attack could realistically land on him. A heavy Sasuke, nearly completely drained of chakra, was able to react to that same Susanoo, meaning he'd be comparable in combat speed to his own Kirin, so over half of King Piccolo's speed. A zero-tailed cloaked Naruto kept up in a fight against that same Sasuke, so if we're being conservative here, Sage Mode Naruto using Sage Art Massive Rasengan Mega Barrage with over 2,000 clones raining down on King Piccolo in a literal ultimate ninja storm of Rasen Shurikens should be able to tag him consistently enough to defeat him. Also, Naruto can throw Rasen Shurikens now, so that's over 2,000 projectile attacks firing at King Piccolo omnidirectionally, with each attack being able to bypass his defenses and hurt him while also negating his ability to use ki techniques, and while he's still faster than Naruto, there's over 2,000 clones he'd have to fight by hand without being able to use his ki techniques. Even if you think a Rasengan would take too long to charge, in Sage Mode, Naruto can use Frog Strikes to attack King Piccolo internally using chakra to bypass his durability. I think we've gotten to the point that King Piccolo's attack power advantage and speed advantage are again barely relevant, and there wouldn't be a whole lot he could do here. For the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, after winning 2 consecutive World Martial Arts Tournaments in a row, Naruto would be faced with Goku at his strongest in the original Dragon Ball and Piccolo Jr. Everyone's faster here, but not to a significant degree. Where King Piccolo was roughly 50% the speed of light, we see Piccolo Jr. blow up the moon in a feat calced at roughly 55% the speed of light, with his combat speed and Goku's being comparable to that, meaning Sage Naruto could actually realistically defeat both of them and win the tournament, clearing all of Dragon Ball. Without his shadow clones, I don't think Naruto could have even beaten Master Roshi in the very first arc, and without his durability negation, he may not have even gotten past the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament, but to my surprise, it's reasonable to believe that pre-4th Great Ninja War Naruto could actually make it to DBZ. After transitioning to Dragon Ball Z, we have the Saiyan Saga up first. The strongest characters in this arc are of course the Saiyans, like Raditz, Nappa, and Vegeta, and though Naruto can still bypass their durability to hurt them despite being way weaker, Raditz moves at 50% the speed of light, comparable to Goku and Piccolo Jr., though definitively faster. Goku, when he fought Nappa, was moving at 11 times the speed of light, or faster than light, and Vegeta was faster than Goku using Kaioken times 2, which would logically be 22 times faster than light. Naruto is completely blitzed here. The Six Tails cloak was fast enough that its speed terrified Pain, meaning it was exorbitantly faster than Sage Mode that was just keeping up with them, so while it would probably be able to keep up with Raditz, the Six Tails cloak would still get blitzed by Nappa and Vegeta. Also, with the Six Tails cloak, Naruto loses Frog Strike, and I don't know if he can use Rasen Shuriken in that form, so he wouldn't be able to hurt them anyway. Now, Naruto's only chance is to look at his feats during the war arc. During the 4th Great Ninja War, Naruto uses the Nine-Tails Chakra Cloak to blitz the 4th Raikage's fastest strike, a feat calculated to be a little over 6 times faster than light, meaning that now he can actually blitz Raditz and can actually outspeed Nappa, who is blitzed by an 11 times FTL Goku. With his Kurama Link's Chakra Cloak, Naruto then becomes fast enough to easily blitz the likes of Nappa and even potentially keep up with Vegeta, and finally, when he stacks Sage Mode on top of that, he's now faster than even Vegeta. In this form, Naruto can fuse Senjutsu into any of his attacks, meaning now, all of his different Rasengans and his tailed beast bombs and all of his different variations of all of his ninjutsus and even his normal strikes can now all bypass durability, meaning, against all odds, Naruto Kurama Sage Mode can actually beat Saiyan Saga Vegeta. He's faster, he bypasses durability, he can literally stop Vegeta from being able to use Ki with Rasen Shurikens, and of course the battle will be 1v over 2000. Next we'll move on to the Frieza Saga. I think the 4 most threatening characters in this saga are the 2 most haxed characters and the 2 strongest characters. Guldo and Ginyu because of Time Freeze and Body Swap, and Frieza and Super Saiyan Goku for raw power. Guldo I think is ironically the biggest threat since Naruto has 0 resistance to time manipulation hacks, so in theory, since even Guldo, the weakest member of the Ginyu Force, is physically stronger than adult Hokage Sage of the Six Paths Naruto, he could just freeze time and one-shot Naruto. Unfortunately for Guldo, Naruto at this point should be able to blitz him, and nothing would stop him from decapitating Guldo with a Frog Kata Mini Rasen Shuriken. Now, Ginyu is a different story. Being able to keep up with Namek Saga Goku like he did, with Goku having become 10 times faster than he was before, Ginyu should be over 100 times faster than light at this point. Even if we're being extremely generous and saying that Kurama Sage Mode makes Naruto 20 times faster, making him 120 times faster than light, sure, he'd be able to beat Ginyu if he went all out, and that's no small feat, but even first form Frieza is faster and stronger than that, and Goku can activate Kaioken times 20 to boost his speed to over 2,000 times faster than light, and Super Saiyan with its 50 times flat multiplier would make him in excess of 5,000 times faster than light, or over 40 times faster than Naruto's best estimate. For a little context there, being 7 times faster than someone is basically seeing them in slow motion. Sure, maybe Ginyu goes for a body swap, and Naruto uses substitution jutsu and dodges, and annihilates Ginyu with a planetary Rasen Shuriken or a tailed beast bomb. But what then? He gets evaporated before he can even blink against Frieza or Goku. No, if he's gonna stand a chance against the top tiers of the Namek Saga, he's gonna need to go all out. let's talk about Sage of the Six Paths Naruto. Sage of the Six Paths Naruto isn't going to be fast enough, since he's only 2 times as fast as before, meaning only 240 times faster than Light at best, but he's got a couple more hacks to even out the playing field once more. First, Naruto actually rapidly grows stronger in this form, so while it's a pipe dream that he'd ever catch up in attack power, if he can somehow stall and hold out for a while, he might actually be able to close the gap in speed enough that an army of over 2,000 clones, body flicker jutsu, and his ability to predict attacks and react with his instincts could even things up. He can also amp his speed even further with the 5-tail speed amp, which definitely helps our case here. Now, here's the kicker. Naruto in Sage of the Six Paths mode shares the same chakra as Hagoromo Otsutsuki. Seems kinda innocuous, nothing special, but here's the thing. People with Hagoromo's chakra, people like Naruto, Sasuke, Madara, Obito, etc., cannot be affected by ordinary chakra-based ninjutsu. Only Sage energy or natural energy in Naruto can bypass this ability, and since ki and chakra are equalized in this debate, that means that, barring Goku's Spirit Bomb, Naruto is completely immune to all ki-based attacks. Now, this invulnerability only extends to ki attacks. A single punch would still turn Naruto into mist, but even a Super God Kamehameha from Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta couldn't hurt Naruto. Not because Naruto is stronger, but because he's fundamentally immune to energy attacks. Naruto also gets truth-seeking orbs in this form, which can nullify any energy-based attack they touch, and he can teleport these orbs, which should help with his reaction speed gap. All things considered, I think it is possible for Naruto in Sage of the Six Paths mode to beat Goku and Frieza, but I think Naruto is more likely to beat Frieza, whereas I think he's unlikely to beat Super Saiyan Goku. Frieza would probably sense Naruto's ki only being around Saiyan Saga Nappa and Vegeta level at most, dismiss him as weak trash, try to destroy him with a casual ki blast, and when it fails to even affect him, Frieza would probably think there was something wrong and try a death beam, then it does nothing, and Frieza gets pissed and tries to spam death beam, still does nothing, and then the panic sets in. Death Ball does nothing, Death Saucer, Last Emperor, nothing, while Frieza throws everything in the kitchen sink at Naruto only to not leave a scratch, growing increasingly erratic in the process. That'd give Naruto plenty of time to pop out an army of 2,000 speed-amped ki attack immune clones to return fire. Eventually, the truth-seeking orbs are gonna neg all of his attacks, and the barrage of Six Paths massive Rasen shurikens is gonna destroy Frieza's ki circulation and then vaporize him. Now, it's also worth noting that shadow clones don't create new truth-seeking orbs, but in the worst-case scenario, if all else fails, truth-seeking orbs can be used to literally erase matter like a Hakai, so if Naruto teleported one into Frieza or Goku's head during their barrage of useless ki blasts, they'd literally die instantly. The reason I think Goku is more likely to beat Naruto is because, rather than panicking like Frieza, I think Goku's personality is more likely to just dart up and punch Naruto in anger and frustration, which would of course instantly kill Naruto. Still, he doesn't really have a way to stop Naruto from teleporting a truth-seeking orb onto his head and erasing it, or teleporting one into his heart and blowing it up from the inside. Ultimately, again, if you are very generous with how much Naruto can amp his speed, how quickly his speed would increase over time, how powerful his durability bypassing abilities are, and if you say that Goku and Frieza are only trying to beat Naruto by spamming ki blasts and never try to actually hit him, or at least give him enough time to hit them with a 6-pass massive Rasen shuriken, get off Shadow Clone Jutsu, or do both, I actually think that Naruto could clear the Frieza Saga. It'd be tough, and I think that it's much more likely that he caps off at or after Ginyu due to the problem of the speed difference, but thanks to Sage of the Six Paths chakra, beating Goku and Frieza, though unlikely, is not actually impossible. Now, before moving on to the Android and Cell saga, I will say this. Theoretically, it is possible for Naruto to clear all the way up to Beerus, but I won't be counting this for my gauntlet. It's my understanding that, while in Sage of the Six Paths mode, specifically during his time with Hagoromo's chakra and seal, if Naruto died during combat, Hagoromo could actually rewrite fate and bring Naruto back to life indefinitely, amping his attack power and durability with each resurrection. Not sure if it can undo existence erasure, which is why I wouldn't say Naruto can get past Beerus, and the reason why I would count this as a power of Naruto's, despite being reliant on Hagoromo, is because it's a facet of his Sage of Six Paths chakra, but it seems kinda cheap and isn't really fair, I don't think. Also, I wouldn't count Baba or Yama bringing Goku back, because they can only revive him and help him back to the living realm, which would take quite a bit of time unless instant transmission is used, and in some instances is limited, whereas Hagoromo's ability is instant and just undoes the death. In any event, as for the Android and Cell saga, there's just no way for Naruto to proceed from here. Naruto beating Goku and Frieza on Namek was already a bit of a stretch. Androids 16, 17, 18, and Cell completely blitz and one-shot every version of Naruto. Six-Path Sage Mode, the last Naruto, Adult Hokage Naruto, they all get destroyed. Even with the most generous interpretation, if you're still being realistic, Naruto can't close the speed gap, and everyone at this level can one-shot him. For context, while a full-power Baryon Naruto might be able to fight on the level of the androids if you believe in the solar system level scaling for Naruto god tiers, Super Perfect Cell, the top tier of the Cell Saga, is several million times faster than Naruto and over 4 times stronger than him, and that's just with normal attacks. His Solar Kamehameha is literally over 30 times stronger than Baryon. Like, he literally just blitzes and one-shots. Naruto isn't gonna be alive long enough to drain Cell's life force. I think Naruto's Baryon mode could definitely help him to defeat a lot of people he might not be able to defeat without Frog Kata or Rasen Shuriken's durability bypassing powers, but I think the Cell Saga is where Naruto taps out. In terms of raw attack power, Naruto wouldn't really be able to keep up beyond the Saiyan Saga, but the Cell Saga is when he can no longer fight back using his hacks or special abilities and just isn't fast enough to react anymore. Super Perfect Cell and everyone in the Buu Saga are just too fast and too strong for Naruto, even with over 5,000 clones and tons of special abilities. Super and GT aren't even worth mentioning because he would just get blitzed in one shot by basically everyone, I think. In short, Part 1 Naruto can make it fairly far into Dragon Ball, but when the heavy hitters start coming out like Goku, Tien, and Piccolo, Part 2 Naruto was required to be able to fight evenly. Beyond that, the only consistent way to make it to the Android Saga was Baryon Naruto, and there's no way he'd be able to make it past Super Perfect Cell. Overall, while Naruto can't keep up in terms of power, he's got a lot of hacks and tricks to help him to continue to be able to hurt and defeat Dragon Ball characters, and his speed actually allows him to keep up for the most part, which is actually pretty impressive. Also, this is the best possible outcome for him, so it is totally possible that Naruto doesn't even make it this far, though considering how strong Baryon mode is, I'd have a hard time believing that he couldn't make it past at least the Frieza Saga. Unfortunately, he gets stat checked pretty early on in Dragon Ball Z, save for Baryon mode, and though his special jutsu, powers, and abilities and his speed keep him afloat through to the Cell Saga, he'll just have to settle for roughly 2/3 of the way through DBZ. That concludes Naruto's run through Dragon Ball. What do you guys think? Does he stop later than I thought, or does he stop even earlier than what I said? Let me know in the comments. Also, just keep in mind that, while I posted a couple of calcs and stuff like that, this was really more so just a fun little what if of pitting one of my favorite shonen main characters against another of my favorite shonen anime and one of the strongest shonen anime verses there is. This was more of a fun little thought experiment to challenge and test Naruto than a real power scaling video that you should take as gospel. Okay, remember to be civil in the comments, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.